Good morning and welcome to the Pinken YouTube channel, also on Twitter and Facebook, and welcome to Fixture Release Day for the Championship for the 2022-23 season. We're about 3 minutes away now from learning the schedule for Norwich City's season. Quite looking forward to seeing what that looks like. Before we find out, get your guesses in for the first day of the season. Let me know what your ideal situation would be. I'm thinking we're probably going to be facing a long trip. I predicted before today, we were speaking yesterday on Window Watch, I predicted that it would be Cardiff or Swansea. Connor Southwell, my colleague, is feeling slightly less pessimistic, but still pretty negative about it. He was going for Sunderland away, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. We're now about 2 minutes away, and I wrote a piece yesterday saying I think a good start, let's say, don't want to say easy start, but a more comfortable start would probably suit Norwich City given the end of their season last season and just generally how that went. I think that maybe has played into the start of their pre-season. Obviously, they go to Dereham and Kings Lynn and Cambridge United, and with all due respect to those sides, you get the sense that Dean Smith is keen to inject some wins into a side that were seriously lacking them last season. So we'll see how that goes. I think a good start will be very key to them. So yeah, get your guesses in, and if anybody's spot on, I'll flash you up on the screen. I'm trying to think what the most difficult trip would be. I think it probably is between Cardiff and Swansea in terms of length. I was looking at a chart this season in terms of the away trips, and I think Norwich City's travelling supporters are going to have a quite a difficult season. I think Luton is the closest one, and that's about 100 miles away, from what I recall. We're not too far away now. So I'll keep refreshing, as I'm sure you all will, just to get some of your guesses up there. Jonathan Hall says Cardiff away. Joachim says Luton away. Andy thinks QPR. George Wilson's gone for Sheffield United. A lot of away guesses. I suppose that's because they're doing work on the stadium and the floodlights. So we are anticipating that it will be away. Some reports that the first two fixtures are going to be away, but we don't understand that to be the case. Obviously, we'll hopefully have confirmation of that in a few seconds now. In fact, it's now 9 o'clock. Here we go. And the first game of the season is Cardiff away. So one of those trips that I said was the most difficult, the furthest. I mean, I'm sure none of us are really truly surprised. Classic way to kick off a Norwich City season. But yeah, just to give you some quick highlights: Cardiff away, then Wigan at home, Hull away, Huddersfield at home, Millwall at home, and then Sunderland away. Those are the first 6 fixtures. Boxing Day is Luton away. The final day of the season is Blackpool at home. So yeah, it looks like a fairly, I think, just from a snap reaction to those first few fixtures, it looks probably like something they wouldn't have minded. I think Cardiff away is, as far as supporters, it's maybe not ideal, but I think competitively that's probably a decent chance for Norwich. Probably I would expect those to be in the middle of the pack next season. Probably, playoffs will be their sort of top goal and their top target. Wigan then at home, a promoted side, Hull, who were promoted a year ago, and then Huddersfield. That could be tricky, but they've got 2 home fixtures in a row there, Huddersfield and then Millwall. So I think they'll be pleased with that. I think it could be worse, but I'm just looking now at the number of 7:45 kickoffs, and I don't know if that's increased because of the World Cup situation. Obviously, they've got to pack more games into a shorter space of time. But yeah, I believe we had somebody actually said Cardiff away, and I did promise I would get the comment up on the screen. So credit to Jonathan Hall for that guess. I mean, as much chance as there was of any other fixture, but credit where it's due anyway. And George Wilson makes a good a good point. He's hoping Gareth Bale isn't through the door until August. Reports of him being in talks with obviously Norwich City. I was going to say legend, but I think that may be pushing it slightly. Ex-Norwich City player Steve Morrison, obviously in charge of Cardiff now. So that will be interesting. Just looking for the sort of bigger name fixtures. Burnley away, which is another not particularly fun one from what I've heard, especially in the sort of press areas. But obviously they're I think expected by some to challenge in the promotion stakes. I think that depends greatly on what sort of transfer business they can do and whether Vincent Kompany turns out to be a good manager or not, really. But Norwich faced them pretty early, 10th of September. I think I've had a talking point taken away from me over the last few years by the fact that Ipswich aren't in the division. I think that would have been the first fixture that Norwich fans looked for. But yeah, that's the disappointing thing about a Championship fixture list as opposed to a Premier League one, is that there's not those there's not too many particularly exciting moments to look forward to or games to look out for. I'm sure after the glitz and glamour of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and Stamford Bridge and Anfield and places like that, Norwich City fans aren't particularly excited about the prospect of visiting, let's say, Rotherham United, but it will make for a different experience to the one that Norwich City have had over the last year. So yeah, it should be exciting. Just to delve into those a little bit further, there's a Blackpool away trip on the 1st of October, so probably a little bit late to christen that a sort of sunny, a summery day. That's probably going to be quite chilly by the time we get to that. Then Reading away, Preston at home, Watford away, which could be a big one. That's on the 15th of October. Obviously, all of these are subject to change, should say that. And obviously, there are TV picks, obviously much less likely to be impacted than in the Premier League, where I think, as my colleague Paddy highlighted yesterday, you can sort of throw those original fixtures out the window because they do love to chop and change those for TV, but obviously not so much the case in the Championship. But obviously, you expect that, especially if Norwich City are in and around promotion towards the end of the season, that a lot of these fixtures are going to end up in that sort of time, change because of Sky. But yeah, it looks like a tough start for Norwich supporters. Cardiff away, probably not particularly ideal, but in terms of on the pitch and the competition, I think they'll be happy with that. Cardiff, Wigan, Hull, Huddersfield, Millwall, not too bad. I think it gets tricky when you start including the likes of Sunderland, because they'll be right up for a Championship return. So I think Norwich fans will be hoping that they haven't had a particularly exciting return to the Championship by that point. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all of the highlights. I think it's a tough end to the season in terms of Swansea at home, then West Brom away, and then Blackpool at home. Obviously, I think very few people are expecting Blackpool to be right in the mix, but Swansea and then West Brom, that could be an enormous doubleheader as you get towards the end of the season. Ex-Norwich player Russell Martin perhaps playing a big role in whether they end up being promoted or not. But we'll have more reaction on Pinken.com and on the Pinken Plus app, available for just $1.99 a month with, I believe at the moment, a 30-day free trial. So get yourself over there. Thank you for joining me. I know it's been an early start for some. It certainly was for me compared to usual. But yeah, Cardiff City away. Make of that what you will. I'm sure none of us will be totally surprised by that.